When we talk about sales engineering, no one thinks about creativity. It doesn't come together usually. Well, a lot of engineers are very creative, and a lot of great sales engineers get creative as well in order to do our job. So I wanted to tackle this subject today. And in case you didn't know, I am Ramzi Majraba. I'm a sales engineer out of Auto Canada, solution specialist. I'm still not used to saying that. Anyways, that doesn't matter what I am. Well, it does. But anyway, I'm talking about creativity for sales engineers today. So let's start off by kind of defining the two words that we're discussing, creativity and sales engineering. So creativity, according to the dictionary, which I have open right there, it's the use of the imagination or original ideas, especially in the production of an artistic work. Now let's define sales engineering. I define it usually, if anyone ever asks me, it's the process of solving a business problem through technology. This sounds very simple, but it's much harder to actually do, because if you're blending humans and technology, you're solving a human problem with technology, and a lot of humans don't want to share their problem. Almost every single hero on TV that I grew up watching never shared their feelings. Customers in general, people in general, don't want to air out their laundry, which makes it harder to help. So let's discuss a little bit more details what sales engineers actually do to solve the business problem through technology. One, we have to understand that business problem. How do we do that? We do that through research. We do that through asking a lot of good questions. If you ask bad questions, you'll get bad answers. If you ask annoying questions, you won't get answers at all. You might get kicked out. So we're asking a lot of good questions, and that requires listening. That requires also knowledge of the product, so we know how to ask those good questions. And it also requires some trust from the customer to you. Otherwise, they might not give you the right answer, or they might just give you part of the answer, not the full answer. And that can make a big difference. Now, the second part of sales engineering is solving the business problem through technology. In order to do that, you have to know the products that you have to know the technology, how they work, how they solve the problem. The job doesn't end there. As sales engineers, now that we've solved the problem, we kind of have to let the customer know that we've solved the problem. Not only that, we are the best solution to that problem. So we understood the problem, we solved it, and we're the best solution.
Another one.
This is how much value you get, because you have competitors who are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to come in and take your lunch, basically. So in short, we need to highlight value. We need to talk to our customers, show them the solution, and show them why this is the best value solution. It's one thing to tell them we're the best solution. It's another thing to tell them why we're the best solution. This is how we solve your problem. John Kerr was on the podcast a while back, and he shared a story, which you can listen to it right now. Part of solving the problem is making sure that they understand that you understand the problem, and also that they can trust you when you say you've solved it. Because a lot of customers buy stuff, doesn't work the way they want it to work. Whose fault is that? The SE's fault. Make sure when you sell something, it does what you say it does. It solves the problem that they have. And if you didn't understand the problem, then that's, again, your fault as an SE. And the last thing that we do as part of the selling, I guess, is we want to show them the future state. This is how you currently do things. This is your problems. This is how life could be once we fix it. And that's how you can solve a business problem through technology and convincing the customer that you are the best solution. Now, this is not an easy job. A lot of SEs know how to do it. Some do it just straightforward, like step A, step B. They go by process. I was talking to someone and they informed me that the SE they work with is not creative. They just go, this is the process. This is what they follow. And they do well at their job. It's not like uncreative SEs don't do well. If you follow the process, you get the job done. Creative SEs can get harder to win deals. One, they can shorten the sales cycle. They can touch, not physically, a customer and get them to see faster what the problem is and how they can solve it. So let's break these down. Here are 10 examples of how you can do an SE job creatively. We'll start with the first example, newsletter. A while back, I had Patrick Pisang on the podcast. You can watch that podcast here. And we talked about one way he helped close a deal was by creating a newspaper, like an article. He wrote on the article like how that customer used their product and was able to solve their problem and how they're very happy. It was a future state situation. It wasn't actually what's going on. It's just the vision that he had. There's a book called Vivid Vision, and it's all about how business people can actually create the vision of the future. It might seem woo-woo, but at least it gives you a goal. And By creating that, you and your customers are getting on the same page of what they want to achieve. Now they know that you understand, and they know that you will do whatever it takes to help them achieve that. So that's one way to do it. And it's just a very simple example. And we're going to go through some more. If you have an idea of how you can actually be creative with this role, please leave it in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit the like button. If you're not going to leave a comment, just scroll down and hit the like button. Anyway, it doesn't really hurt. Second example is an email list. And a lot of these are not just my ideas. These are ideas that have been mentioned on the podcast. Some I have done, some other people have done, and they're very useful. Joshua Smith created his own email list. So a lot of companies have their own marketing email list that most customers opt out of, from what I've seen. He created his own for his own customers, not to sell them anything they already bought, but to keep in touch with them, to keep them aware of what's going on in the market, what's going on with their products, what's going on in the industry, latest security threat, latest feature that they have, and how that can help them. He would create that in a newsletter. He wasn't sending it every week, I don't think, but he was sending it out. So that's another way you can do it. Hopefully that triggers another thought that you can think of. Leave it in the comments below. Collaboration is the best way to learn, so leave a comment below.
Another one.
Number 3, storytelling. Storytelling is one of the easiest things that people can learn. You're not telling a story. For example, it's in the flow of a presentation, the flow of a demo. It's not necessarily, once upon a time, there was something. Although, from my experience, there's a gentleman by the name of Mark Green. He's the director of PreSales, I believe, at Consensus right now. And he's been on the podcast a few times. He talked about how he told like the 3 Little Piggies story as a sales engineer. Check it out. I'll try to find a link to that, and I'll leave it in the description below. But storytelling is a great way of actually convincing the customer or letting the customer see what their future state could be. You can tell stories, or multiple stories to tell. There's your own story. I'll create a video for that as well at some point, if I haven't done so. I can't remember. You can share customer success stories. You can share a vision story, like, hey, imagine if you didn't have to come in the morning and look at your email and see all these red urgents saying like, hey, this system is down, or whatever the problem might be. These are all good things that we can do through storytelling. Everybody talks about storytelling in the SE world. You can just search on LinkedIn and you'll find a million people talking about it. So there are things to learn. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on my website. You can reach out to me personally and we can talk about it. Then we have building relationships. How do you build relationships? Well, it happens over time, but you want to speed things up. Depending on the role, sometimes you're meeting a customer once and they're buying, at which point there's not much relationship to build. Although it's always good to maintain a relationship because you never know, they might leave to another company and you'd have to do the thing all over again. But building relationships is great in general for the long haul, especially for repeat customers. And that's part of our job. And it's like the funnest part of our job. We're getting paid to have fun. One of the main ways I've seen people build relationships is through lunches. So let's take the customer out to lunch. Let's have coffee. You don't have to be limited to that. I've done that with several of my customers, but I also played basketball with some of them. The most common one is golf as well. You hear a lot about people playing golf. It doesn't have to be golf. You can find out what their main hobby is and see if you can do it with them. And if they want jiu-jitsu, maybe go attend a class, get interested. I have one client who's into RVing. I keep talking to him about it, and I plan on taking the kids RVing one day. He actually suggested that I can go call a site, rent an RV from there, and I just show up. That would be the first best step, and that seems like a very logical thing to do. And once I do it, I can go back and tell, hey, this is what I did. Imagine that. I took your advice, and it was great. Multiple ways to build a relationship. You're getting paid to make friends, so that's a good thing. Christmas parties, charity ride. Sometimes the customers throws events, like one of my customers throws a Christmas party every year. It's a poker party or a casino themed party. People show up and they're given chips, and in the end, whoever gets the most chips wins a TV or something. I go every year. I host. We make jokes. We laugh around. We don't talk about business. They get to see me. We get to build relationships. I used to just go sit in the cafeteria and work. A customer during lunch hours, they just come down and they see me. They would either sit with me or would just wave, and they get to see you more often. They get used to you. If you see something that reminds you of a customer, send them a message. Like, hey, I just saw these kids tobogganing. Last time we talked about tobogganing, I just thought of you for some reason. These are things that you can do. Number 5, using social media. Trevor Spires, he keeps getting surprised that I talk about him a lot, but he uses social media great, which is why he's a great example. We're living in a world where some of our employers want us to be more active online. It's free marketing for them. The more people mention their names, the more people see them. When he worked for AWS, he was great at it. He would host meetings for AWS, like training sessions. He would talk about AWS all the time on YouTube. It kind of builds relationships with his existing customers, because his existing customers ask him, hey, how do you do this? And he can just send him a link, like, yeah, you can do that way. And now he has credibility. It's public. It's not just him sharing information. People know that it has to be right, otherwise he'll be embarrassed in public. You can get also creative with your postings. You can tell great stories. You can ask great questions, all within your postings. Number 6 is creativity in solving technical problems. This kind of is like when we talk about engineering, and no one talks about creativity, but a lot of engineers have to be creative in order to do their job. They have to think outside the box to do something, to solve a problem. I don't think that's a big problem. I think a lot of SEs have a portion of at least technical creativity. We know product A can do this, product B can do this, customer wants something in the middle, so if we combine product A and B, it could solve the problem. Or if we just add this line of code, it could fix something. In doing the demos or in debugging proof of concept, how do you get creative with solving problems? All these are ways we can actually do that. And number 7 is similar, but we're solving commercial problems. As SEs, we don't get really involved in commercial stuff. That's a salesperson. But because we know the products very well, a lot of SEs know the pricing. We're not talking to customers about pricing, but we know. We can talk to our account managers and collaborate and build a solution that's more of a commercial fix than it is a technical fix. Number 8, part of the creativity is building communities. I mean, Damien Tomasino, he has Cyber HQ, he's building that. Trevor also has his own. Anyways, I'll leave a link to all of those in the descriptions below. SE&Y has built a community a long time ago. Check those out. These are all ways to bring the SE world together and to learn from each other. When we talk about creativity, sometimes we get creative ideas by watching someone do something. You can do that. Presentations, we do sales kickoff every year, and every year it's like the most boring thing ever. I just show up and I don't want to be there. There was one presentation that I remember where a gentleman came up, he had a video running in the background, and he just did a TED Talk for a good 10 minutes. And I know he'd done it like 10 times that day because I was like the last session. It doesn't have to be a PowerPoint slide. It can be whiteboarding. If you're using your home computer, get yourself one of these Wacom boards. Use your tablet. Use polling. Use software. Use OBS. Do something beyond just clicking a button and talking about what's on the slide. Have jokes ready. Have questions ready. Because it is boring to sit through a presentation. There's a reason they call it death by PowerPoint. And the last thing is when you host meetings, whether it's internal or external, also do something different. I've done something when I've hosted my own meetings the last few times where if I want someone to answer a question, I make a joke. Like if I want a bunch of people to provide an opinion, I start off by asking one person about their opinion. And then when I'm done, I don't wait for somebody else to answer. What I do is just say like, hey, you just answered the first question. How about you nominate someone to answer the next question? That way we kind of building some form of rivalry / camaraderie / having fun where person A is nominating person B to be put on the spot. It's just fun. So think of ways that you can do it. It can be something different. You can be creative in different ways. Again, leave a comment. That's it for today. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm talking too fast. I don't know why, but I think it's because I have a meeting coming up. That's it for today. Get back to work.